Welcome back into the Rounding Third podcast on a Tuesday. A little different today, but we got Harrison and Sean with us tonight. How we doing, fellas?
Good,
man. How we doing?
Oh, thanks for asking this time, fellas. I'm doing good. You know,
we learned our lesson, Nick.
Last week was hilarious, but yeah, things are going well. Work's crazy, but that's why we have baseball to talk about. So,
indeed,
amen.
Before we
baseball's not crazy right now, but that's fine.
Oh my God. Now that football's over, baseball season is officially upon us. Oh, almost. A couple more days.
We're getting there.
But all right. Before we get going, make sure you follow and like us on Facebook. You can also subscribe on YouTube. You can also listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. All right. Leading off, we're going to start with the announcement of the release of these Red Sox documentaries that are coming out. Is it Netflix that's doing it?
Yeah. I think Netflix,
yes. Yeah. So Netflix is doing these documentaries on the 2004 team, and then, lucky for all the viewers out there, the 2024 team that we will see on the field this year.
Yeah. Hard knocks for the opponents against this terrible pitching staff.
Yeah. So that's essentially what Netflix is kind of going for, is like a Hard Knocks, but baseball world here, I guess. The 2004, I feel like there's been so many documentaries on it, and we've all seen every single clip there is, out there. So, I mean, is it fun to watch that stuff? Yeah, of course. I mean, 2004, it broke the curse. Like, I get all that stuff. But
and that season was amazing. Like the whole, the ALCS, like there's so much good stuff there, but it's been we've watched so many versions of this thing already. What are they going to do different?
Right.
Well, yeah, that's my question. I mean, I'm going to watch it, obviously.
Oh, absolutely.
But I'm curious, like, how much new stuff, how much new interviews, or how much new information can we really get? Probably not that much, but I'm still going to watch it. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be sick.
That part, the 2004 one's going to be awesome. 2024, I don't know. I'll still watch it, but
I saw a meme the other day. Somebody, I think they renamed it. It was Given Up Hard Knocks. Because that's all that team's going to do in 2024.
Yeah, man. It will be kind of interesting to see like how much behind the scenes stuff we'll get. Not necessarily with the players. Like, I'm more interested in seeing if there's front office stuff that's on this documentary too.
I wonder if we even see anybody from the front office, or if they're just going to avoid the team like they have all winter.
Well, and that's my question. But as a fan, like, I almost don't even care about what the players go through day to day. Like, I want to know what the hell is going on in that front office. And if this
is there even anybody there?
Right. And if this documentary shows that, I'm all for it.
Yeah,
I would love to.
It'll be cool just to see behind the scenes. Whatever they show, I'd be curious, like, how's Alex Cora with the guys really? Because there seems to be some friction with him and some players. What is that front office dynamic like? What is this team like, considering they've basically turned the whole thing over? With Sale now out of town, you've just kind of got Devers left. Like, what is it like there? Is it and why don't players want to come here? Is there something else to that story?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, there's been rumblings that people still want to try to get Trevor Bauer here, possibly, to give him. Amazing. And then there's still money to get Jordan Montgomery here and stay under the cap. Whether that happens or not, I'm not holding my breath. It's not going to happen. But, I mean, Sean made the point before we came on. Like, if you know these documentaries are coming down the pipe, why wouldn't you want to spend and make this team as good as you can?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
well, I just think it just gives you an insight into what they're truly thinking, regardless of what they say. Like, they can come out and make all the comments and stuff that they want, but if you as an ownership group know that this is coming and a spotlight is going to be on your organization, behind the scenes, in the locker room, day-to-day conversations with players, coaches, front office, and you're still going to put like essentially a AAA roster out there, it's just probably not the best look.
Yeah.
But like, even I saw a thing today, I was trying to find it while you were giving that intro, and I have yet to be able to find it, but Breslow made some kind of comment about how, we can still, add to this team for the short term and for the long term, build up the farm system, but it's even okay to admit that it isn't coming together the way that even I thought it was going to, which is like kind of eye-opening. Like, the guy that you gave the GM job thought that he was going to have more leeway. Like, what Did you lead him down a road knowing full well that you weren't going to give him what you told him in the interview process you were going to give him? I don't know. But it was an odd statement for Breslow to make, because it almost seemed like he was expecting things to be a little bit different, and he's on the inside.
Right.
So it just adds an extra layer to like this whole thing's kind of messed up.
Yeah.
Well, it is, and Netflix didn't just like decide they're going to do this 2 weeks ago. Like this has been in works for a while. Like
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
How have the Red Sox not thought they'd want to look good for this, or is that really just where they're at? They don't care. Maybe they look at this as more of a marketing piece, or why somebody should come buy the ball club. I don't know, but it's horrifying to think that we're gonna roll a special out with a team that's probably no better than 500 again. A front office is clearly a mess. A new GM who can't get traction, and for what? But it'll be interesting to see.
It's just more money coming in for them. They're probably just like, oh, hey, yep.
Well,
and I swear, if Theo is the centerpiece of this 2024 part of the documentary, and they even came out and they was like, he's going to have nothing to do with the baseball day to day. Like, what are we doing?
That would be awesome.
Crazy. But yeah, it's just another money grab for them to make more money. More people that watch these documentaries, the more money the Red Sox made that they just line their pockets with or buy another sports franchise with. That's what it's going to boil down to.
Yeah, it's going to be sad that this is what they're going to roll out there to the whole world. I
hate to be the guy that's like so like what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of prickly, I guess, for lack of a better word, about the Red Sox. Like I was saying to Nick before we got on, like I'm 34. All right, so between me being 14 and 34, I've seen the Red Sox win 4 World Series.
Yeah.
4. Like my dad, like our parents' generation, like they suffered for years with like teams that should have won and just found ways to lose. And I've seen 4, and it's because of this ownership group. Like they don't win, 04, 07, 13, and 18. They don't do it without this ownership group. So it's like you almost want to give them leeway in a sense, because it's like, well, they did bring 4, but the last handful of years has just been so polarizing, because the way that they've gone about the past few years has just been so like frustrating, because it's almost, I don't want to say it's worse, because it's not worse. I mean, to go 60, 70 years seeing them lose the way that they did is just, I'm not saying it's almost worse, but it's like to get a taste to be like, they know what works. Like they've done it. They know what works. They know you got to go spend the money, right? You got to build, but you got to spend the money. Yes, you have to build up the farm system, but you got to spend the money. Like it always comes back to, you got to spend the money. Like they know it works, and then they're just avoiding the main part of what works, and it's frustrating. It's almost like they've used up all of that goodwill that they got from the 4 titles. It's weird.
And I think it would be easier to swallow if they weren't investing in all of this other crap too on the side. You know what I mean?
I don't think it doesn't bother me as much as it bothers you guys. I'll be honest with you.
Okay.
It doesn't, and I don't know why. Like I don't know. Like to me, I guess I try to put myself in the position of like a businessman, like a legitimate like multi-billionaire like these guys are. Like you want to diversify as much as you can. Like you want to put your fingers in as many pies as you can. Like I don't think that necessarily is bad business.
No, but I'm great business.
But it doesn't prioritize the Red Sox, I think, is what I was more saying. It's like when your attention is elsewhere, you can't focus on the Red Sox as a whole. And I think that's where the fans' frustration is. It's like, well, you've kind of just like casted us off to the side because you're focused on everything else and your money's going somewhere else where the Red Sox clearly need help. You're not anywhere to be found.
And here's the parallel I'll draw for you, because I agree with both of you to a certain extent. I think the Fenway Sports Group is an absolute sports monster, and good for them being involved in what they're involved in. But as a Red Sox fan, to Sean's point, we've won 4 titles, and it was all after this ownership group got involved. They know what works. They've been here. They've done that. And we got used to them continually competing. And then all of a sudden they just stopped. It was like 2019 came. It was like, boom, we're done. We're done investing in this team. We're going to just ride this thing out. But if you look back in 2019, that was when I believe they made their first investment outside of the Red Sox. I want to say that was when it was either Liverpool or racing started. And
no, they were in Liverpool long before 19.
Was Liverpool before 18? Okay, then maybe it was racing that came on
for a while.
they made another big investment in 2019. Maybe that was the racing team, which is a massive amount of money. You should watch that NASCAR special on Netflix to see what that's like. And then they just the faucet shut off. And the issue as a Red Sox fan is that you can see as their interest shifted, which I don't blame them for. Good for them. I'd want to own every freaking team on the planet too. Once their interest shifted away from the Red Sox, this team fell apart. And that's the hard part, is that you can draw that clear line of they got interested in other stuff. The Red Sox became less of a priority, and therefore the team has been terrible since the last championship in 2018. And that's why we are where we are. And they've not spent, they've not invested, they've done very little about this team. And they don't say anything. Like, they won't just admit to what's going on. They can't just say, hey, look, we're rebuilding. Hey, we're going to retool. Hey, we're going to change direction. Every offseason, it's just, oh, we're working on it. Or this offseason, Sam Kennedy telling us that we're all liars if we think they're not investing in the team. Your payroll numbers tell us you're not. Like, I don't need to be a math superstar to figure that out. But just tell us what you're doing. That's all the fans want to know. Just tell us what you're doing, because clearly this isn't your priority.
Yeah. Doug makes a great point. How are you going to call yourself Fenway Sports Group and you stop caring about what goes on in Fenway?
It's fair.
I mean, I agree.
I guess. I mean, that's the name of the comp. I mean, it's like, it's all brand recognition at this point. I mean, like, it's I get it. That's true. I don't know. I'm with you, Harrison. I think for me, the frustrating part comes from the, like, just be upfront and open about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just be honest, right?
Yep.
Like, don't, and I've said, use it. Like, I don't piss on my head and tell me it's raining. Like, I can see what's happening.
Yep.
Like, I know exactly what's going on. And then again, like, Sam Kennedy come out, oh, you're fooling yourselves and you're lying if you think we're not investing. It's like, well, I'm pretty sure you're not investing. Like, I know I'm not in those rooms, but like, I'm pretty sure it's just kind of on the surface that it's not a priority. And I think that is where some frustration comes in. But like I said, it's almost like, for me, I can speak for myself. Like, you had a little bit of goodwill because of the 4 titles you've won. It's gone now for the most part. Like, that goodwill of sticking there being like, well, we know what it takes to win. It's like, okay, well, now that you know what it takes to win, let's go do what it takes to win. And I'm not talking about like being in the division race in July. Like, I don't care about July. Like, be in the division race in September. Have an opportunity to do some damage and make some noise. And it's almost as if they think that what was it, 19? 2019, right? Was that the year we went to the ALCS?
No, wasn't it 21?
21. Yeah, when Kike was on fire.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah. So 21. It was almost as though none of us expected them to be there in 2021. You're right. It was 21. We weren't, and it's almost like they felt like that. Well, that was kind of like a championship.
Yeah. Hey, you're welcome.
Right. Like, like, we got you there when we weren't technically supposed to be there. So like, let's add that to the goodwill meter. It's like, but you didn't win. Like, and then you came back the next year and just failed miserably.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's almost like they look at that as like, oh, you see what we did in 2021? Like, we're still trying. Yeah. It's like, but you didn't even try in 2021. It just kind of worked out that way.
Yeah.
It is frustrating. It is frustrating. I should say my only kind of disagreement, we can call it that, is it doesn't bother me as much that they are invested in other places. It's the kind of not openness with the fan base about where the Red Sox direction is. I don't necessarily care about the direction of Fenway Sports Group. I really don't care.
Right.
Like, I don't wake up in the morning and check how the Pittsburgh Penguins did. Like, I don't care about the Pittsburgh Penguins.
No, it's funny though.
The fact that
but I was just gonna say, to that point though, Sean, you think about how big Red Sox Nation is. Like, if Red Sox fans are happy and you're promoting Liverpool at Fenway Park, well, geez, Red Sox fans might tune in for you, or they might support the Fenway Roush Racing Group or whatever the hell it was, or they might, they might take an interest in the other stuff if you're treating them well. But you're as soon as you said, you're pissing on Red Sox Nation's head and expecting them to be okay with the fact that you're talking about Liverpool, or you're blowing off the winter event for the fans because you got other priorities. Like, just tell us what's going on. Like, and I'm all for it. I hope they buy an NBA team and all these other things. But at the same time, like, I want you to treat the Red Sox the same way you treat this other stuff, and just give it some attention and put people in place that can actually make decisions.
Yeah.
Sam Kennedy, empty friggin' suit. Craig Breslow,
Seems that way.
you gave the guy an empty checkbook, and then you're surprised he hasn't signed anybody. Like, what the hell are we doing? Just tell us. Honestly, Red Sox fans, we waited 86 years. We're patient. We just want to know what the hell's going on. Are we trying or are we not?
Right. We are educated fans. The Red Sox fans as a whole are educated about their baseball and about their team. Just let us know what's going on and we're going to be behind you. Yeah. Like, it doesn't, like, it's pulling the wool over our eyes that we're frustrated about. Like, or we are clearly seeing something and there's like millions of us seeing it and you're saying, oh, no, that's not happening. Okay.
Yeah, it's like gaslighting on a major level.
Oh, big time.
Major gaslighting. Sure.
And I look at it as Fenway Sports Group. The better Fenway Sports Group does, the more money they have to deploy to all these teams. Like, in theory, like, sure. I want the Pittsburgh Penguins to do well and make the money. I want the racing team and Liverpool and all this stuff to do well and make the money. But I'd like to see some of that money come back to the Red Sox. I don't want to see all the money from the Red Sox get sucked out and thrown at other stuff. Like, spread the love a little bit.
Right. So yeah, those documentaries will be out at some point. I don't know exactly when, but it will be interesting to see what 2024 looks like. So, all right, we have actually a little bit of free agent news. One of the big four still left. Jorge Soler signs with the Giants, 3 years, $42 million with the Giants. Kind of puts a big thump in the middle of that lineup there. So
it does.
I think that's a good signing for the Giants, and Matt Chapman's still out there to possibly add to that lineup too. So, and I haven't heard anything on that front lately either.
And what kills me is like 3 years, $42 million. That's not huge money for Soler.
No,
it's a good contract.
Yep, absolutely.
Oh, it's just sometime in 2025. I just looked it up.
Oh, that's what it says.
Sometime, well after this season is over.
Yeah, makes sense.
So we get to watch them win like 70 games and then relive it all over again. So that's gonna be great.
Yeah,
great. We're gonna relive this hell of a good season all over again.
Relive it all over again.
Goodness. Love it. Yeah. So I mean, Soler to the Giants, it's a good move for them. A big bat in the middle of that lineup. You know, possible 30-100 guy. And then if Chapman ends up going in there too, which, I mean, I think there's still a couple other suitors for him, but Giants seem to be the big link for Chapman. But
it's the only team consistently rumored. It's just that there should be a lot of teams interested in him. Why are there not?
I couldn't tell you. We got Clayton Kershaw is back to the Dodgers. So for 1 year. So instead of hanging him up or going into Texas, like kind of earlier rumored, he's going back to the Dodgers. So and that kind of solidifies their rotation until the playoffs.
And did I read correctly that Kershaw's not even back until like June anyways?
I believe so. It's either shoulder
like some
or
shoulder
back.
thing he had done.
Yeah, I think so.
I didn't even realize he had something done. So I thought he was going to be at spring training ready to go.
Yeah. That works for them. What does he need April and May innings for?
No.
I mean, it doesn't. He's pitched a few times.
Yeah.
No, I read that. I was like, huh.
Yeah.
That works.
Yeah. Seems like all those older guys are coming back mid-season now. You know, it's like whatever. You know, Scherzer's coming back mid-season. DeGrom will be back mid-season. I mean, he's not older, but we all know his history. But Kershaw. So, yeah, you're right. I mean, April and May doesn't mean anything, honestly.
No, and they're gonna, you know, he'll come in when somebody starts to get tired or gets hurt, and it's like making a trade and just randomly shows up. And there's a lot of money in this contract. He's guaranteed $10 million in the first year. He can actually earn $12.5 million more this year in incentives, and then he can actually create from that a second year to this contract worth $25 million. There's a lot of money in this contract if he comes out and pitches. Which
are they taking some of the Red Sox money? Where are they getting all this money from?
I don't know. I was reading the details on that contract. So I'm like, 1 year deal, no big deal. No, it's a 1 year with an option that vests. It's a $37.5 million incentive package on top of that $10 million.
It was
it's wild.
That was the hidden clause in the Carl Crawford deal. We sent Carl Crawford there, and they were like, "Yeah, but in 2024, we get 80% of your money." And no one knows about it.
Right.
And that's why the Red Sox aren't spending any money.
They've been sending it ever since.
Like, what's going on? They're spending so much money.
That's crazy.
It doesn't. It's wild. But he literally this thing's so incentive laden that if he just shows up and goes out there and pitches, he's going to make a boatload.
Yes, he can.
Nuts.
He can.
Jose Altuve is staying in Houston probably for the rest of his career. 5 years, $125 million extension.
Nice.
Good for the Astros. I can't really picture Jose Altuve in a different uniform. To be
I agree.
completely honest.
Yeah, I agree.
No, it just would seem wrong.
But
It's like that weird clip I saw on Twitter. It was Ricky Henderson hitting a leadoff home run for Seattle. It's like, that just looks weird.
Oh yeah.
yeah, right.
That just looks weird. Jose Altuve anywhere else would look weird.
Yep, it just wouldn't be right. And I honestly, like, I mean, as talented as he is, like he fits so well there. He's not a guy that necessarily fit absolutely everywhere because he's kind of a unique leadoff guy. But man, it works with that lineup.
Yeah, for sure. Adolis Garcia signs a 2-year extension to avoid arbitration. There was a lot of back and forth there. They were a couple $1 million apart, but they finally agreed to a 2-year extension there. So Garcia will be in Texas and signs that 2-year extension. So
Nice.
good for them. Yep. And then Vladdy Jr., first of all, gets the cover of the show 2024.
He does.
And wins the arbitration case, which you said, Harrison's a record, right? $19.9 million.
Yeah, so $19.9 million is the most that an arbitration panel has ever awarded. You and I were talking about it, Nick, specifically because Ohtani got $30 million last year, Soto got $31 million this year, but those were agreements between the player and the team before the panel heard the case.
Yeah.
This is the first time that teams have said, no, we're not going to agree. We're taking it to a panel. And Guerrero Jr. got the largest panel awarded contract in history.
Gotcha.
And he got exactly what he was asking for. He wanted 19.9. They were offering him like 17. And the panel chose his side. Nice. And there's a lot of talk. I've read a ton of articles lately. People think he's going to have a monster season. That he spent the offseason working hard. He's lost a little bit of weight. Like he's back to the focus guy he was a couple years ago. And we'll see.
I mean, I hope so, because I want that Vlad Guerrero Jr. back. Do I want him back in the AL East? Like, no. But I want to see
Why
that
not?
guy. Well,
so who cares?
Anything? Sure.
Well,
whatever, bring it.
Fair. But I want to see him in prime Guerrero form.
Well,
like,
they need him to be. That team did not get better this offseason. They're going to need him to absolutely go out there and hammer.
Yeah.
I mean, this has to be, and I know we're getting a little off track here, but this has to be the last year for this Toronto core, right? Like, I mean, this has to be.
Yeah, there was talks. I guess the Dodgers threw out feelers for Bo Bichette, and it's like,
that's
God,
what I'm
damn
saying.
it,
So if Toronto's saying no, so obviously Vlad just won his arbitration case, and they want to keep him, obviously. I mean,
Sure.
if they're saying no, if they want to keep Vlad and they want to keep Bo, and Kevin Biggio last year was up and down, between the minors and the majors, and he's but a good young talent. I mean, how many years can they go in with this young core,
right?
And swing and miss, no pun intended, but like how often can they do it before they're like, we got to shake things up, like we got to move Bo, or we got to move Vlad, or we got to. I don't know. I mean, how many years?
I mean, I think honestly, like a huge wrench in all of that was last year with Alek Manoah. Like that was a huge wrench and a hurdle for the Blue Jays to try to overcome. I mean, he was a Cy Young candidate, and then you get this pitch clock rules in here, and he just falls apart.
Yeah. So
lightly.
your two anchor players, Bo Bichette and Vlad Jr., are both unrestricted free agents in 2026. So you got two more years of control before you've got to make a decision.
Yeah. And it wouldn't surprise me if they don't go for broke and try to bring people in, that they end up getting traded.
Yeah. I mean, I could see them maybe moving one of those guys this year if they're not in contention middle of the year.
Same.
Yeah.
Unless you're convinced, or you're going to do what the Red Sox did. You're going to let one of those guys go here and then give the other guy the big contract and build around them.
Right.
But I think somebody may go this year if they're not hanging on.
Yeah, kind of like the Soto with like a year left,
yeah,
like on his contract, and get the biggest package you can for him. But
take what you can get now, because Bichette's under control. He's under contract 2 more years. Vladdy's got another year of arbitration, and then they're unrestricted, and those guys are going to get some deals.
Yeah. Interesting. So, yeah, I mean, so we're still waiting on Blake Snell. You know, your reigning Cy Young Award winner still doesn't have a job. Jordan Montgomery, we're still waiting for.
Doesn't even have an offer. Forget about a job.
It's
Like,
crazy.
Weird.
I was reading
It's
an article,
weird.
and I'd love to get your take on it, guys. I was reading an article. I want to say it was in The Athletic. Basically, to boil it all down, this is very, very bad for MLB to have all these free agents still available, but especially when you've got 5 or 6 marquee free agents available when the entire league begins to report to spring training tomorrow. Like, what? So I guess, first of all, is it a problem? And secondly, why? Why are there so many of these quality guys still without even an offer, let alone a contract?
I
don't know. I wonder if players are starting to think, players and agents, I don't know, are starting to think that they have more leverage than they kind of recognize that they had in the past. Right? Like, I don't think that this is what's the word I'm looking for? I don't think that this is a coincidence that this is happening shortly after the whole like COVID season, short season kind of. Players are now understanding that they can still perform pretty well when they show up late.
Mm-hmm.
Like these guys, if anyone is kidding themselves, they think these guys aren't working out. Like if they think that if they think they're not putting in the work or getting swings in or throwing their bullpens or doing their throwing regimens and all that, you're crazy if you don't think they're doing this just because they don't have a team affiliated with their name.
Yeah, Blake Snell's not sitting poolside eating Doritos.
Yeah, like these guys are all putting in the work. And I think they're starting to say, you know what, we have more leverage. Like, and this is where like agents, guys like Scott Boras that we've, heard about for years. But this is where, like, I wonder if these guys are going, you know what, like, let's not give in. Like, let's see. Because inevitably it happens every year. You show up to spring training, pitchers and catchers, tomorrow, right? The 14th, you said.
Yep.
So they show up. There's going to be within the first week, an injury that no one was anticipating.
Yep.
There's going to be a starting pitcher that comes in and they have forearm tightness, and it's like, oh, here we go, MRI, and then it's Tommy, and then it's, oh, we're going to scramble. Maybe we should give Blake Snell the money he's looking for. Maybe we should overpay a little bit for Jordan Montgomery. I mean, it happens every year.
Yeah.
Always.
So
always.
Like I don't know. I think it's bad for baseball? I don't think it's great. I don't think it's great for baseball. But I also am really don't foresee the season starting and both of these guys are unsigned.
Right.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Two of the best lefties in the league.
They're both right. Like
not
just best lefties, proven postseason lefties.
Yeah. Right.
Like these guys will have jobs. I think players are starting to stand up and agents are going, you know what? We have more leverage than players in the past thought that we had. Like, let's stand firm. We're going to still work. We're going to still, these guys are going to see how much we work. They're going to see the progress we're making, and they'll come to us. Don't worry. They'll come to us. I don't know. I just, we saw it in 2020 with the COVID year. Guys showed up. I mean, guys signed late. They didn't know whether we were going to have a season. Right. Guys opted out and not played, and then we had opportunities for the guys. It was bizarre. And I think we're going to start to see this more and more every offseason from now on. Guys just holding on to the last second.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm with you. But
yeah, I think for a pitcher, I would totally agree. I think for a pitcher, I think getting there super early is not necessarily as important as it seems to be, because these guys are throwing to catchers, they're throwing to batters in most cases. Like, they're still getting their work in. They're doing their long toss. Like, I feel like a pitcher's program doesn't change that much. But for the hitters, it's getting the reps, getting the at-bats, seeing the live pitching, which I'm sure you can see some of that, but it's not quite the same as seeing major league guys on a major league mound to get your timing down. But, you've got Bellinger and Chapman and Snell and Montgomery. You can just keep going down the list. There's all these free agents still out there. And a lot of the rumors are the Players Association is freaking out. Like, all this money got spent on literally like 4 players. Where the hell's the rest of it? Like, why are these other guys not coming off the board And there's concerns about, is there collusion in place? Are the players asking for too much? Are the teams just not willing to make any long-term commitments right now? There's all these theories spinning, but you've got the people internally at MLB and the Players Association kind of freaking out that there's all this talent still on the street, and everybody's showing up to spring training by tomorrow. It's weird, and I don't disagree that we'll probably see more of this, but this is a lot. This is a lot for one single off season.
Yeah,
Sure.
But yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. I also think. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. I was
just gonna say. I think from the standpoint of like ownership, maybe too. It's like a ton of money has certainly been spent, mainly by LA, but a ton of money has been spent, and it's on a handful of players. And I wonder if kind of the philosophy moving forward on the side of ownership in front offices is going to be like, hey, like we can pay buco bucks to a couple of guys and then just fill in the rest of the roster spots, because like we have now, 3 horses that we can rely on, and now the rest of the lineup is filled in with just okay guys. We got young guys coming up that we can fill in. We have control over these guys where we can bring them up for a little while, send them back down, and it's not going to impact us for a couple more years. Like kind of finding loopholes in the way that we can use the organization and not just the 25-man roster, but extend it to the 40-man roster. I don't know. I just – it's an odd offseason because there are so many big ones, but I just have a feeling that we're going to start to see this more and more. Maybe not with this caliber of free agents every year, but I think this is going to be something we should be probably getting used to seeing, is maybe 1 or 2 big names every year, kind of late February. They don't even know where they're going yet.
Yeah. That's fair.
I heard a couple interesting theories, and I know you want to move on, Nick, but when you look at this free agent group, you got a lot of guys that have some sort of wart on them. Snell's a 5-inning pitcher. Montgomery's really kind of had these odd seasons. Chapman is a low average, high strikeout guy, great defender. Like there's little tiny warts on these guys. And there's this feeling that these teams just don't want to pay that kind of money to guys that are not like the elite of the elite. Like these guys are at the lower end of elite.
Well, good luck fielding a team of Ken Griffey Juniors. I mean,
that's the thing.
This is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, Blake Snell wants 9 years, $270. Do you want to give that to a guy who's going to give you 5 1/3? Like, I don't know. Maybe there's an argument to be made for that. But the second piece of it too is that there's also a feeling that these analytics departments have gotten so big and have gotten so deep that they're running the analytics on some of these players that are out there and just saying, nah, they're not worth that. We can go pick up these 2 guys nobody's ever heard of, and they'll give you about the same. We don't need to pay the extra money for this guy. And it's almost like we're going deeper into Moneyball, because they're going to spend buku bucks, like Sean said, on the kind of the upper crust. The elite of the elite players are going to get the massive contracts. And then the analytics departments are saying, well, I can fill in a lot of the blanks after that with guys that are good enough to make the team competitive.
I mean, especially in Blake Snell's scenario alone, he only gives you 5 1/3 innings average.
Right.
Like you can find that. You can find 1 or 2 guys that can give you 5 1/3 fairly consistently.
Yep.
But then find me those same guys though that can nut up in postseason time.
I
think
agree.
that's where,
right.
And that's where like analytics, I think there's certainly a spot for it in all sports, most certainly baseball. I mean, it's been around the longest in baseball, but like at the end of the day, you got to play the game on the field.
Exactly.
And you're going to have to go out and have guys that can perform when they have to perform.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like you have to find guys, and like to me, I don't know that there's any substitute for a guy that has consistently done it.
No, there's not.
Like and yeah, sure. Like analytically over the course of 162, yeah, I can go out and plug the hole with 2 guys that are going to consistently give me 5 1/3, and they're going to do enough to keep my team in the game. And we have an offense that can score enough runs. But at the end of the day, when you've got to win a game in September to give yourself a 2-cushion lead in the division, like, do I want that fill in the blank guy?
Yeah. Do I want the good enough guy?
Right.
No, I want Jordan Montgomery. I want Blake Snell. I want Garrett Cole. Like, that's who I want. And if you have to pay, 9 years and 270 is a bit much. But if I'm a team that's vying for a championship, like if I'm the Red Sox, I don't do it because that doesn't make me that much better. That doesn't put me in contention for a World Series. But like if I'm a team that's on the cusp, then yeah, give me 5 1/3 from Blake Snell every 5 days. I don't care. In May and August and July, like I don't care. Because I'm going to have that guy that needs to go 7, and he'll go 7 in October.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and that's
Okay.
what you just said. I think is part of it too. I think teams are looking at the gaps between where they are and where that next level of team is, and they're like, well, if I sign Blake Snell, doesn't fill the gap. Like, so what's the point?
Right.
I need more than just Blake
Mhm.
Snell, and I can't afford more than just Blake Snell. So I can't
Right.
catch the Dodgers. I can't catch the Yankees. I can't catch the Orioles. I can't catch that team because that one guy isn't enough for me to fill that gap. So rather than spend the money to finish 5 games behind them, I'll just finish middle of the pack, and it is what it is because I can't catch them anyways.
Right. I agree. All right. We are going to move on to our blurred picture trivia segment. So as they come up, and if you're watching, you can also
Don't you
comment the answers.
sigh, Shawnee. You had a
I
had a
stink at
banner
this.
week last week.
I stink at this.
So
I think you got 3/4 of them last week. Don't you go there?
So here we go. First one, played from 1981 to 1994 with the Twins. One-time All-Star, two-time World Series, 293 career home runs, and first baseman. Who is this?
Is that Herbeck?
It is Kent Herbeck. Nice job.
I always enjoyed watching him hit.
Right, him and Kirby Puckett, such a great duo there. All right, next one. Played from 1990 to 2003 with the A's, the Orioles, the Mets, back with the Orioles, and then the Blue Jays. One-time All-Star, 91 career home runs, 1,500 career hits, shortstop, and second baseman. Who is this? It is also another Maine product.
Oh, go back up real quick. Let me double check the years. 20 years ago, boy. Oh, not Swift. What was the guy's name?
This is
Bordick.
Mike Bordick. Yes.
Yes,
Mike
right at the
Bordick.
buzzer. I'm
Right.
like from UMaine product. Like,
Yep.
man, oh man.
Yep. All right. Next one. Played from 1981 and then 1983 to 1993 with Blue Jays, Cubs, and White Sox. MVP in 1987. Three-time All-Star, three-time Silver Slugger, and a left fielder. Who is this?
Mondesi?
No, not Mondesi. This was a pretty common name. I think as soon as you hear it, you would definitely know who this is.
It is. It's like a Wanro, something like that, isn't it?
Nope.
I'm close though, aren't I? No, I'm not.
No.
All right.
This is George Bell.
Oh, George Bell, duh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a dumb one.
Yeah, George Bell. Sorry. All right, here we go. Next one. Played in 1993 for the Cubs. Only made 7 appearances. 100-mile-an-hour fastball, and he had the biggest Pepsi endorsement at the time. And he's a pitcher. Who?
Henry Rowan-Gardner.
This.
I love the fact you got before it came up. I'm like, who could this be? I'm like, I'm still thinking it's a real ball player.
Yes, Henry Rowan.
First off, he was a real ball player. Secondly,
Jesus, here we go.
Yeah, we can get it. I have major plot holes in that movie. Great movie, but I mean, there's a lot of that movie that just makes no sense. But
most of that movie makes no sense, but it's still a classic.
It's the best. You're welcome for that. That was my surprise.
I'm sitting here thinking it's a real player, and Sean immediately caught on to where this was going.
All right. Played from 1985, 1986, and then 88 to 98 with the Mariners, Giants, Rockies, and Mariners. 94 and 78 win-loss record, 3.95 ERA. First starting pitcher to ever start at Coors Field. Who is this?
Is it Kyle?
No. You said his name earlier. Also another Maine product.
Oh, Swift.
Yes, Bill Swift.
Yep.
So through the last couple Maine boys in there.
There we go.
All right.
Yeah. So Sean, they did play baseball back in the 80s. I know that might be a bit of a newsflash.
Yeah, but I mean, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? I wasn't around.
All right. Played from 1989 to 2007 with the Orioles, Astros, Padres, Diamondbacks, Dodgers, Angels, Giants, and Rockies.
Man.
304 career home runs, 2,548 career hits, 2-time All-Star, 2001 World Series with Arizona, 5-time Gold Glove, center fielder. Who is this?
Steve Finley?
Luis Gonzalez?
No, it's Steve Finley.
Steve Finley.
Yeah, Steve Finley.
I knew it was coming through, but I saw Sean. He's like, I saw him nod his head. I'm like, oh, Sean, he's got this one.
Yeah.
No,
Steve.
no. I was nodding my head about something else. I had no idea this one.
All right. Next one. Played from 1995 to 2010 with the Royals, the A's, Mariners, and Phillies. 5-time All-Star, 297 career average, 13 years in Kansas City,
Wow.
first base and DH. Who is this?
Sweeney.
Yes, sir.
Mike Sweeney.
Sweeney.
He had a sweet swing. High average guy.
Yep. Very great. Good ball player for them. All right. Played from 1995 and then 1997 to 2002 with the Yankees. Immaculate inning in Major League debut.
Oh, wow.
Career 14.8 K per 9 ratio, and he's a pitcher. Who is this?
That's quite the picture. Oh, boy. Is that a Rabu?
Nope.
Oh, wait. What movie is this from?
This is from another movie.
Is this the Rookie?
It's not the Rookie. This is
that Billy Chapel?
No.
No, that's For Love of the Game.
I know. I love For Love of the Game. Brendan Fraser's character in
Yes,
is hilarious.
Well, no, it's not the Rookie. That's the Scout.
Oh, the Scout. Sorry, not the Rookie. The Scout.
This is Steve Nebraska.
There it is.
Yeah.
Brendan Fraser's character.
I was wondering why there was nobody in the stands.
Yeah, I was like, I'm like, that's a weird picture.
All right, here we go. I'll give you a hint. There's 2 more coming up.
That is a good movie. For
2
the
more
record.
movie ones coming up?
Oh yeah, somewhere in here.
Okay.
Yeah, The Scout
Right.
is a good movie for the record. Brendan Fraser is really good in it.
Yeah. Next one.
He's
Played
nuts.
from 1991 to 2005 with the Cubs, Yankees, Giants, Royals, Braves, Red Sox, Mets, Mariners, Rays, and Yankees. 15 career home runs, 272 career batting average, shortstop, and second base. Who is this?
Oh, not at all who I thought it was. I thought it was Jeff Fry at first, but that's definitely not Jeff Fry.
Very, very similar player to Jeff Fry.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
This
I'm
is
stuck.
Ray Sanchez.
Oh, I loved Ray Sanchez.
Yep.
You played for the Red Sox?
Yeah, Ray Sanchez. All right.
Not for long,
No.
but
Also a guy that played for a crap load of teams. Here we go.
yes. This is
Played from
crazy.
1986 and then 88 to 2006 with Giants, Phillies, Yankees, Giants again, Phillies again, Mariners, Cubs, Giants again, Cubs again, Braves, Pirates, Dodgers, Indians, Twins, and Diamondbacks.
Jesus.
1-time All-Star, 124 and 142 win-loss record, 4.41 ERA. He's a southpaw and a starting pitcher. Who is this?
Oh God, he's got some interesting hair too. It looks like.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but he begged at the top of his release because his front foot's almost down. So
Yeah, that's an interesting
did
release.
this ball sail like 12 feet over?
Well, hence the 4.41 career ERA, probably.
Right. Guy he looks like Heath Embry, but Embry wasn't a starter.
Yeah. This is Terry Mulholland.
Oh yeah, Terry Mulholland.
Yeah.
That everybody brought him in as like a 5th starter because he was cheap and he
Mhm.
threw strikes usually.
Yep. Hence the high ERA.
Yep.
I doubt on this pitch.
Yeah.
All right. Played from 1999 to 2008 with the Twins, Cubs, Tigers, and Marlins. 165 career home runs, 277 career average, and an outfielder. Who is this?
Jock Jones?
Yes, sir.
There we
Jock
go.
Jones.
I was like, the only guy I think that fits that profile is Jock Jones, but I wasn't sure if the years were right.
Yep, Jock Jones. Nice.
He
one.
was fun to watch. He was
really was.
a streaky guy, very
Yep.
streaky.
This one should be a slam dunk. Played from 1999 to 2013 with the Astros, Yankees, Cardinals, and Rangers. 6-time All-Star, 2011 World Series, 366 career home runs, 293 career average, outfielder and first baseman. Who is this?
Lance Berkman.
Lance Berkman is correct.
I keep wanting to call him Bell, and I'm like, it's the other B. What the hell is his name?
Part of the Killer Bees. That's right. Lance Berkman. Nice.
He had that lean back, that slasher swing, but man, did it work.
Yep. All right. Played from 1984 to 1987, and then 1989 to 1992, 94 to 96, with the Dodgers and the Indians. I'll give you a hint. He never played for the Dodgers in the major leagues because the Dodgers cut him because of an OUI. 46 and 40 win-loss record, 3.78 ERA, and he's a relief pitcher. Who is this?
I was really expecting a real player. I should have known better.
So was I.
That would be Rick Wild Thing Vaughn.
Ricky Vaughn.
So there's websites that you can legit look up like fictional players' stats, and they map out their entire career.
That's awesome.
So like Steve Nebraska's was crazy. I found his on there. It was just, man, it was fun. It was fun.
You hit me with like the win-loss record and all this. I was like, I have no idea what this guy's talking about.
I was like, wow, this guy's got a legit career here.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Yeah, it's Ricky Vaughn.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Played from 2009 to 2020 with the Orioles, Nationals, and Cardinals. Yes,
Matt Wieters was my boy. Matt Wieters was my boy. I was obsessed with Matt Wieters.
I loved Matt Wieters.
Coming out of high school, I was obsessed with Matt Wieters.
He was in that group of catchers. You had Saltalamacchia, Taylor Teagarden, Matt Wieters, the guy in Milwaukee. I can't think of his name now to save my life. Like, you know, this group of catchers that all came up at the same time, and he was like the guy that was supposed to be the cream of the crop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was. Thank you for throwing that one in. I was. That got me back in the game. I'm back into this now.
All right. So, so Matt Wieters. All right.
We don't need to hear apparently all the stats. We're just going to move on.
That's fine. I didn't spend all week putting this together or anything for you guys to just blow it up. So it's all good.
For Shiny to dunk on you.
Yeah, it's all good. Here we go. Played from 2001 to 2006, and then 2008, 2010, then another break 2012 with the Yankees, Expos, and Nationals. So he started on the Expos and then went with the team when they moved to Washington.
Gotcha.
Marlins, Yankees, and Orioles. 95 career home runs, 268 average in first base. Who is this?
Wasn't Shelley Duncan. It's the other guy that came up at the same time.
Shelley Duncan. That's a name I haven't heard in forever.
Right? He was, it's not a name you needed to hear either.
Nope, not Olerud. Good guess, Doug. Yeah. Not Olerud.
Oh, man.
This guy shares the same first name as me.
Oh, Nick Johnson.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nick Johnson.
I was like, I can picture him, but I cannot think of his name. He was he wore the friggin' Red Sox out.
Yep. Nick.
I don't think he hit it against anybody but the friggin' Red Sox.
He only had 95 career home runs.
Yeah, that kind of shocked me too.
Yeah.
Friggin' 80 of them against the Red Sox.
Yeah.
Probably.
Oh. All right, next one. Played from 1996 to 2004 with the Mets. Most of his career with the Mets, Rays, and Cubs. 3-time Gold Glove, 5th place Rookie of the Year, 12 career home runs. Wow. 246 career average and a shortstop. Who is this?
I figured Mets. I was really hoping Sean had this one because I have no idea.
I
Probably,
don't know, man.
probably one of the best defensive shortstops the Mets have ever had.
He's got legs for days, though.
He does. Holy cow!
Not Jose Reyes, the
Yeah.
guy right before him. And he like defensive highlight film.
Why am I blanking on
Jose
who-
Reyes was when I came into my Mets fandom.
Oh, gotcha. So he was just a little bit before.
Who was
Who
right
was
before him?
Yes.
This is Ray Ordonez.
Oh man.
Uh,
Yeah, he was so good.
Yeah. Ray Ordonez. All right. Played from 1999 to 2013 with the Blue Jays, Angels, and Yankees. 3-time All-Star, 3-time Gold Glove, 1-time Silver Slugger, and a center fielder. Who is this?
go back again.
Oh,
Blue Jays, Angels, Yankees.
His entire career, except for the last 2
isn't it like Shannon or
years.
something like his first name?
No. On the right track, but not quite. His whole career was with the Blue Jays. The last 2 years was Angels and Yankees.
I know exactly who it is.
Well, then say it.
I can't get his name out. It's I thought it was Shannon. I know it's something in that area, but I can't.
This is Vernon Wells.
Oh, Vernon Wells wasn't even close.
Well, Shannon, Vernon.
Oh, I'm a little upset I didn't get that.
I know.
Yeah.
I can picture him. Loved Vernon Wells. Guy absolutely wore out gaps.
Yeah.
I'm a little upset at myself.
Yeah. Vernon.
I think I
Wells.
was thinking too obscure.
Oh, sorry about it.
No,
Trying
no,
to be tricky.
it was no, not at all.
Damn,
I was
Yeah. All right. Next one. We got played from 1995 to 2005 with Braves, Indians, Brewers, and then back with the Braves. 1995 World Series, NLCS MVP, and he was a catcher. Who is this?
Oh, I totally know who it is, and I don't know his name.
sensing a theme here.
It is not Javi Lopez,
No, it's not.
but
Javi.
he backed up Javi for a while
did.
there.
It's like George. What's his?
Not
Court.
George.
Blanco.
No.
Damn.
And there's actually fans behind him, so you know it's a real player.
Yeah, it's actually a real player this time. I can't. He was like the Tony Pena of the time. Like had been around a long time. And
Yeah. This is Eddie Perez.
Eddie Perez. Damn it.
Never heard of him.
No.
Oh,
Yeah,
he was rock solid for so
Yeah.
long.
Yeah, just like the constant professional. Like he
Yeah.
never made bad outs, like great behind the plate. Like he was
Yeah.
good.
He was so good.
All right. Here we go. Played from 1981 to 1999 with the Tigers. Rookie of the Year, 9-time All-Star, 3-time Cy Young winner. Threw a perfect
just gonna
game
step
towards
back.
the end of his career, and he's a pitcher. Who is this?
The greatest pitcher of all time, Billy Chappell.
I say that
Billy
movie's so good. I love that
Chappell.
movie.
If you're gonna do an obscure one, you're gonna give us Gus Sinski, the catcher for Love of the Game. John C. Reilly's character. Gus Sinski was awesome.
He was so good.
Gus was a great character.
That's awesome.
I love that movie.
All right.
That's an underrated baseball movie.
People don't appreciate it enough. I
People
love
don't
it.
appreciate it because it's like a drama. You know, it's got like that off the field kind of connection with what's her face. But that movie's fantastic.
I remember almost being in tears when he cut his hand with the saw. I'm like, oh my God, what's it gonna happen?
Oh,
He can't go out this way.
so
All right.
good.
So we started this last week. You guys kind of liked it. So I got a couple more iconic moments. So I'll give
Yeah.
you little clues throughout, and you got to tell me what the iconic moment is. Okay. So first
Right.
one right here. Like I said, the colors of the background kind of also give a clue. So happened off San Diego pitcher Eric Show. Happened in the first inning. It was the 57th anniversary of Ty Cobb's last game. That's a big clue. September 11th, 1985. 57th anniversary of Ty Cobb's last game.
I don't know.
Ty
Was
Cobb
somebody
was known
being
for
a bad
stealing bases
teammate
and getting hits. So
and being a horrible teammate? Was someone being a bad teammate that day?
was this a Milton Bradley moment?
No.
Yeah.
Cincinnati Reds.
Oh, is this Pete Rose?
Yes. Pete Rose's record-breaking hit.
I say because Ty Cobb did two things: he stole bases and got hits.
Yep. So this was Pete Rose breaking the record.
What year was that?
85.
Oh, all right.
Yep. All right. Here's the next one. Happened at the Polo Grounds, October 3rd, 1951, to win the NL pennant, and Willie Mays was on deck.
So Bobby Thompson's hit.
Yeah. Do you remember what that was called?
Shot heard around the world.
Shot heard around the world.
Shot heard around the world. Yeah.
Wasn't it like 92 feet down the line?
No, it traveled like 2 something, but
Okay, nice.
yeah. But yeah.
Well, those old ballparks were bizarre.
That Polo Grounds is just insane the way that thing was shaped.
I used to love to get like triple play baseball and play at those ballparks. Like you could not hit a home run to center field there, no matter who was up.
Yeah, it's great. You still can on the show. It's awesome.
Oh, can you? Nice.
Yeah. All right. Next one.
I checked out on video games years ago, Nick, because we're not kids anymore.
Well, that's too bad. I still am. So, all right. Next one. August 4th, 1993. Rangers against the White Sox. More than pitchers were thrown in this at bat.
Oh God, is this Ventura and Ryan?
Yes, it is.
This is best baseball fight ever. Best baseball fight ever.
Yeah, Ventura and Ryan. He's got 6 punches in that headlock. So great.
That was so good. And he was not a young man doing that to Ventura either. That was the best part.
My God. It was just freaking awesome. All right.
Why would you charge him out against Nolan Ryan? Like, what are you doing?
I don't know.
Fed him his lunch. It was awesome.
Oh, so bad. And that was a young Ventura who got humbled quick.
Nolan Ryan didn't even get tossed from that game.
No,
he finished it.
No, he didn't.
And he finished the game. Yeah.
No, they said he was defending himself. Ventura started it.
Yeah. Crazy.
Which he did.
He totally did. Yeah. I don't blame him for that. But yeah, he didn't even get tossed. He basically busted his forehead up and then continued to pitch.
Yeah. All right, here we go. October 8th, 1995, happened against the Yankees. A kid was on first base and scored.
Yeah.
Won the ALDS.
This is when A-Rod raced around the bases there.
Not A-Rod. You have the moment, but it wasn't A-Rod. A kid
Griffey
was on. Yeah, Griffey.
Was it Griffey?
Griffey scored from first on Edgar Martinez's walk-off double to win the ALDS.
I feel like A-Rod. I feel like every time I see that clip, I see A-Rod going nuts. Was A-Rod on deck? Maybe.
I think so because he comes to the plate to like lift Junior off the plate.
You're right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Edgar Martinez walk-off double.
It is amazing to me that team with all that talent. That's all they had to show for it.
One of the one of the biggest disappointments ever.
Oh, huge.
All right. Next one. July 24th, 1983. Happened against the Yankees again. 2 outs in the 9th inning, giving this team a 5-4 lead, which then led to a sticky situation.
Yeah, George Brett's pine tar.
Yes.
I thought he was going to murder somebody when he came out. Like that. The clip is awesome. So good.
Yeah. Nice. Doug got it. Edgar Martinez double. Yep. Nice. Yep. Yeah. That was one of the best meltdowns ever. It's easily top.
And like
3.
you look at George Brett's bat, like he had no argument. The pine tar was like to the friggin' end of it. Like the pine tar was everywhere.
Yeah.
But so was everybody else's.
It was funny when I don't know if it was like some part of a documentary or whatever, but it's like years later after he retired, he was given this interview and he was just like, I went back to the bench and I said to them, I sure hope they don't check that bat.
There's no way.
I mean, throw me out. I'm going to lose my mind. Like he knew it.
Yeah.
Friggin' stuff was all the way up. It was all over the bat.
Yeah. It was funny. All right.
That's funny as hell.
Then the last one I got here also happened against the Yankees. Whitey Ford was on the mound. Game 1 of the 1955 World Series. The catcher was heated and should have had Affleck to protect him from stolen bases.
Was it Jackie stealing home?
Yes, it is. Against Yogi Berra.
That's good.
Yeah. So.
Man, Jackie Robinson was disruptive out there.
And Yogi Berra still claims he was out.
He was out. Yeah.
It's so hard to tell by all the pictures. You can't really tell what the plate is either.
No, you can't. And there's still nothing better than all of Yogi Berra's phrases and all the crazy stuff that guy says.
1,000%. 1,000%. But
all-time classic.
yeah. So that's what I had for this week, fellas.
Those are good.
So, yeah. Yeah, I had to throw some of those movie ones in there too, like just to kind of throw you guys off.
The Rowan Gardner one completely, like I was completely lost on that one. I'm so glad Sean.
Jumped on.
Well, I mean, there was the Pepsi thing that got
I know.
It's been in my head now the whole rest of the show. Him singing that Pepsi song.
I debated on taking it out because I thought it was a dead giveaway, but I left it in there.
I completely.
So I think I still would have got it because it had 7 appearances.
Yeah. So I did the 7 appearances. So there was no career stats on Rowan Gardner, obviously.
Yeah.
But he only appeared on the mound 7 times in the movie. So that's how I got the 7 appearances.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
So, but yeah, the other guys, there's like fictional websites where like they map out the whole career. It's like it was pretty cool.
Of course there are, because people would do that.
Right.
So just so we can just kind of clear the air, there are many plot holes in that movie. But you know what one drives me nuts, like probably the most?
The Salisbury steak?
That. I think have I ranted about that one before? I think I've ranted about that one before.
You have. No. I remember this.
No, it's when Henry comes in for his first appearance, right? His first appearance. Like they sign him as a gimmick and it's like, you want to see him play? Come out to Wrigley. And like, oh my God. So Henry goes for the first game and he's in the bullpen. And supposedly Chet Steadman is stinking it up so much that the crowd's like, we want Henry. We want Henry. Sellout crowd. So they tell the kid to warm up. Henry warms up. Henry comes in the game. He plunks a guy. He throws a wild pitch. And the guy tries to go from first to third on the wild pitch and they throw him out. And then John Candy's like, the kid comes in, hits a batter, throws a wild pitch, and still gets the save. So you're telling me that Chet Steadman went 8 2/3 and the crowd was booing him. And they had a chance to win, and they bring in a 5th grader? Like, what is that? Is crazy.
Yeah. Fair.
I freaking love it. I love the fact, Sean, that you've really like broken this whole situation down. I love it.
Well, just tell me that makes sense.
None of that friggin' movie makes sense.
On the trick pickoff move was also a balk because he's holding the rosin bag while on the rubber.
Well, he's on the mound. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, that's true too. Yeah, right.
Did you see the quote from that the umpire? I can't think of his name. He was an MLB umpire for 11 years. It was just in an article a couple days ago, I want to say, who said he was an MLB umpire for 11 years. He goes, I never called a balk. I never understood the rule. I was like,
that's
wow.
Great.
This is the guy that umpired MLB games, never called a balk, didn't get it.
I'm also not entirely sure I believe that 100%.
I hope not.
Like, you didn't know what a balk was. That's kind of like Brett Favre. After Brett Favre retired, he was just like, I never read a defense because I didn't know what zone coverage was. It's like, I don't believe you.
Okay.
I genuinely don't believe that you didn't know the difference. You might not have been confident in your reading of the defense, but you definitely knew the difference.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah. Ron Luciano, American League umpire for 11 years. I never called a balk in my life. I didn't understand the rule.
Crazy.
Maybe he meant like he didn't understand the spirit of the rule. Like I didn't understand.
I hope.
Well, all right. We're gonna head home here. We got a couple other, news items to kind of wrap up here. They just released this morning, that there are 9 City Connect jerseys that are going to be dropped this year. So, Cleveland, Detroit, Dodgers, Twins, Mets, Phillies, Cardinals, Rays, and Blue Jays. So bring on the Blue City Connects, because that's what all those teams have in common.
Yeah.
But yeah, so 9 jerseys will drop this year. So can't wait to complain about those. There's got to be one that's at least fire out of that 9, I would imagine.
They're all going to be awesome.
I hope so. So we got that. And hopefully those Phillies jerseys that got leaked aren't it. So we will see. Also, we got Jonathan Papelbon campaigning for Trevor Bauer to sign with the Red Sox, saying it would be a great move for the Red Sox to take a gamble on him What are your thoughts?
Why not? What do you got to lose? I mean, the guy was throwing high 90s in Korea. He's still throwing high 90s. He'll take the league minimum to prove himself. So you got a chance to get a guy for dirt cheap who's got a massive chip on his shoulder to prove that he's still got it. What do you got to lose?
And he said he would sign for league minimum.
Yeah, he said he'd sign for league minimum. Just give me something. Let me come show that I can still pitch. Talk about a guy that's hungry to come back and prove that his career got derailed, but he's not done.
Yeah, I personally have mixed feelings about it. I don't know. That's my expert analysis. I don't know.
Yeah. That's good. That's good analysis.
I mean, I just don't like it. Would he come to the team and give them what they need? 100%. I have no doubt that he would come and fill that starting pitching role that we desperately need. I just don't know what comes in the suitcase with him. Like, I don't know what he brings for baggage. That's my biggest concern.
Yeah, and I mean, I even think outside of the whole like PR thing, I think there'd be people out there, regardless of what has gone out, lawsuits being dropped, things that have come out since then. Like, regardless of that, like, there's going to be a PR thing you're going to have to deal with. Mm-hmm. But also, like, and I don't know what kind of teammate he is. You can only. I've never obviously been on a team with him, so I don't know what kind of teammate he is. But you got young pitcher. Like, do you want him being in Bayo's ear every day?
Yeah.
Like,
That's
I mean,
tough.
I don't know. I don't know is he going to be the guy that's going to come in and make it all about him, and it's going to be the Trevor Bauer show every day, and then every 5 days he gets to pitch, but every day it's the Trevor Bauer show? Or is he going to come in and keep his mouth shut and work hard and prove that he can still pitch in this league and go after a big ticket in the offseason? Like, I don't know. I just don't. If you're confident that he can come in and just be one of the guys and keep his head down and do his thing and pitch every 5 days and go out there and show that you can still, and then, you stay out of the media, you stay off social media, you kind of keep to yourself. Like, if you are confident that all that can happen, then yeah. But like, I just don't know. Like, I don't know if that's the guy you want. I mean, you're not a good team right now. Like, you're not a good team right now. And your face of the franchise is Devers. Bayo's coming up, but like, Devers the face of the franchise. If you sign Trevor Bauer, he's now the face of your franchise, just because of who he is and what he brings with him. I just don't know if you want that.
Yeah, that's
fair. That's fair.
It's tough with Bauer because the reviews on him as a teammate are mixed. Mookie Betts a few months ago came out and gave him a ringing endorsement that he was a great teammate, great competitor, a guy you want on your ball club. Other Dodgers didn't feel the same way. The team he played with in Japan last year, Korea, wherever the hell he was, the reviews on him were mixed. Because the thing with Bauer is that he doesn't hide his opinion, and he is like Mookie Betts said, he's like super, super competitive, to the point where, like, if you're not prepared to play at that kind of level, he's a guy that will drive you crazy. Because he expects to be perfect, he expects you to be perfect, he expects you to be there early, stay late. Like, he's, it's the same reason a lot of guys don't like Tom Brady, because he was that kind of insane, intense competitor.
Yeah.
They say Bauer's got a lot of that in him too. Like, he expects everybody to want it as bad as he does, and that wears on people. But you got a guy right now who's been humbled to probably the highest degree he's ever going to be. You could probably set some ground rules with him, and if he doesn't follow them, you cut him loose. Look, Trevor, you're going to be you got a good boy contract, and the minute you're not a good boy, you're gone. But this might be the one chance to get a guy like that at that level of talent. You make the rules and take a shot. And if the guy comes in and can't stop running his mouth, you cut him. He costs you nothing. But I think Trevor Bauer has got a checkered past. He's done a lot of things that have made him maybe not the most liked guy in baseball, but he's a competitor. He's got great stuff, and he's at a point in his career where he is willing to eat the humble pie, and this is the chance to capitalize on that.
Yeah.
Well,
it might be one of the things we see, that once a couple pitchers go down, a team goes in and signs him.
Yeah.
Like kind of a desperation mode. Maybe that's what happens. But
I think the Red Sox probably have a better chance than most at signing him, because, like, if I'm a team that's expecting to compete, and I do have a guy that goes down. But I have Trevor Bauer would worry me about coming into a legitimate contender
Yes, 100%.
and messing up a clubhouse.
Yep.
Like I would be worried if I were the Texas Rangers, if I were the Tampa Bay Rays, if I were the, even the Chicago Cubs, who I think are going to be good this year. Like I would be worried about a Trevor Bauer coming in and messing with the chemistry of a locker room. The Dodgers are different. Like dude, I mean, that was when he was in LA. I mean, that was a clubhouse of alphas. Like
Big
that
time.
was a clubhouse. That was a clubhouse where like they could tell him like, dude, shut up. Like just go about your business. Like leave everybody alone. Go get on the bike, do your throwing regimen, leave everybody alone.
Yep.
Like not every locker room has that.
Right.
So I think you just have to be careful with bringing him into a clubhouse. The Red Sox, I think, have a decent chance, and from a baseball standpoint, it certainly makes sense. The whole clubhouse aspect of it would worry me, but I mean, you make a good point, Harrison. I mean, it's league minimum, like you called it, a good boy deal, right? The minute you're not a good boy, we'll see you later. And I think that you have leverage in that.
Big time.
And if he signs a league minimum deal, knowing full well that it's a good boy deal, and he still can't be a good boy, well, then there's proof right there that you can't hack it in this league. So you certainly have that leverage over him for that 1 year to be on his best behavior. So, you make a good point there. It could certainly work. And again, baseball standpoint, he can still bring it.
He can. And I think your point is spot on, Sean. I think that there's only certain teams that can do this. You cannot bring him into a young team like the Cincinnati Reds, the Pittsburgh Pirates, or
Orioles.
Because, the Orioles, because that's a personality that a young group will be overpowered by. You don't want to bring him into a kind of an established good culture type team like a D-backs or a Rangers. He needs to either be on a middle of the road team that's got a manager that can handle it, or on a very veteran team with guys, like you said, that will just put him back in his place. In LA, he had guys around him who would just put him back in his place. And a manager who kind of just said, yeah, you players run the show and do what you need to do. But you can't just put him anywhere. It's got to be in a situation that can handle it. Could Alex Cora handle him? I don't know. But I think Alex Cora has enough respect from players generally where that might go better. But you couldn't put him in Toronto because he'd eat that locker room and coaching staff alive. But there are certain places that I think he could fit, but there's only so many.
Yeah. Also, news this week: the owners met on what baseball in the Olympics could look like. So the proposed idea was it'd be 6 to 8 nations, a 5 or 6 day tournament in mid-July or whenever the Olympics are. This would be in the year 2028. The MLB All-Star Game could be held or canceled for a year. So they'll just either hold it off until the Olympics are over or just cancel it altogether for that year. And the regular season would be roughly 158 games, they're thinking. So they would shorten the season a little bit. The process is the Players Association is open to hearing formal proposals about it. And the Olympic committees could assist with player insurance, during the tournament. And any plan requires the approval of the players' union, of course, naturally.
Yep.
So, I mean, I don't hate this idea. I think they're going to try to kind of go off the WBC feeling of it and get baseball back in the Olympics and have pros compete versus the college kids going over it and playing, for the gold medal. What are your thoughts on pros going versus the college kids?
Yeah, sure. It's good baseball. I mean, I think you're going to throw a wrench into it with it being in the middle of the season.
Right.
And obviously with it, being subject to approval by the Players Association, I think that's going to probably be one of their biggest sticking points. I mean, we got pitchers, more specifically than position players, but we got pitchers who are in a groove here in the middle of July, and we're fighting for a top seed, going into the final home stretch, and we got to take a break on that to go play in the Olympics. I could definitely see some pushback on the Players Association side. I mean, I'd love to see it. I mean, I love last year's was it last year, right? The WBC was last year?
This
Was it
year,
2 years
yeah.
ago?
It was this year.
Yeah, I'm losing my mind. I mean, that was awesome. I mean, the baseball on a
great.
world stage, it was great. You know, the tournament was great. You know, you had big upsets. You had teams getting to the next round that nobody anticipated getting to the next round. It was great.
Yeah.
You know, and I think theoretically, I would love to see that on the Olympics, but I don't know. I don't know if it's going to happen.
Yeah, it's funny. Doug made a comment. I kind of feel the same way. You know, Doug's comment. He's interested in seeing it kind of like the futures game, where top prospects would go rather than the established pros or the unproven college kids that oftentimes get out there and kind of get in over their head. But I struggle because the Olympics were always designed to be more of like an amateur type sporting event. Like it wasn't meant to be all the top pros that go in there. And I know that over the years that's changed. Basketball certainly took that rule away, and now it's anybody can go. And really none of these Olympic athletes are amateurs anymore because they're all, you know, sponsored and training so for years for this. So it's not like these are just good athletes. These are like finely tuned specimens that have a team behind them. Major leaguers going, sure. I think it causes some concerns with the timing of it. It's one more thing that could take him out to get hurt. I also question how many major leaguers are going to want to go play in it. How many of them will look at this and kind of go, you know, we got a World Series run here. I'm not interested in, or we're going to, you know, playoff chase. I don't want to go do that. I worry that we're going to get all excited to see major leaguers go and have a lot of them just go, nah, I'm good. But to Doug's point, I'd love to see them really focus on that next tier of player, like those minor leaguers that are on the verge, or the minor leaguers that have kind of just come up to the major leagues that maybe could use a pressure type moment to help fill in. I'd love to see them really focus on those guys, but I don't know what to expect with this. Major leaguers, sure, it doesn't bother me, but I don't know that a lot of them are going to be gung ho to go.
Well, and it's all proposed, right? I mean,
Right.
Not even officially proposed, but this is their idea. So
Sure.
There's a big chance that major leaguers don't even go in 2028. So
right.
There's always that. So they could put this all together, and then the players union or somebody's like, yeah, no, I think we're good. So there's always that. But all right. And then the final thing I have tonight, the Oakland A's moved to Vegas / Oakland's talking about a lease extension through 2027 / Oakland might not have a home, or the Athletics might not have a home.
The Oakland Athletics of Vegas of Oakland?
Yeah, maybe.
Of Nashville.
I'm so lost in this right now. It's not even funny. So the mayor of Las Vegas came out and said, we don't want the team.
Correct.
And then there's another statement saying, well, if we build a ballpark, there's no parking, there's no public transportation. So we're just literally going to have a ballpark. Cool.
With nowhere to get there.
With nowhere to get there or park.
Yeah.
So what are we going to do? Like
what's fun in all this is that really this is not about the Oakland Athletics. This is about the dysfunction of Vegas.
Right.
So the article that came out was breaking down the situation, and what happens is the Strip, as we all know, is not under the jurisdiction of the city of Vegas. It's managed and maintained by the county. So the A's cut a deal with the county that oversees the Strip, and the mayor of Vegas is going, we don't want you here, but I can't control what goes in the Strip. It's not necessarily part of my area. So now you've got basically the mayor of the city of Vegas and the county are now battling over this ballpark because the city doesn't want it, but they can't say no. And the A's are kind of like stuck in between mom and dad trying to figure out how they're going to play this, because it's a 9-acre site. It would be the smallest site they put a Major League Baseball field on to this point. It would not have ample parking. It would be a very small stadium seating wise. They can only go up so high, and the traffic is already bad through there. And with no additional parking, they're saying we don't even know where these people would go. So now the city of Vegas may have to put in more public transport on their tab to feed the Strip for the ballpark. And the mayor's saying, we don't want this. Like, we don't want it. We didn't ask for it. We can't support it. I stay in Oakland. Like, what you want works in Oakland. What you want doesn't work here. So don't come. And now the Oakland A's are kind of caught in this battle of what's going to happen. In the meantime, they're still trying to find a temporary home and haven't. So they're going back to Oakland and say, hey, can we stay until this new ballpark is there? Oakland's like, you can't get out of here fast enough, but now you want to stick around. And apparently they're considering proposing their original ballpark plan back to Oakland to say, well, would you do this if we stayed? But this is a mess. And this is all the county and the city of Vegas battling over how this is going to get handled. It's a disaster.
I'm here for it.
it's a mess.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Yep. Well, and the Raiders dealt with something similar too. Like they had to battle with the city over the stadium placement, because when they moved, I think a little bit off the strip, it now all of a sudden they had to deal with different people, and it's the nature of Vegas. Vegas is a very strange place in how it's set up and run.
I mean, you can't just throw a 100,000 seat stadium in the middle of the strip either. Like, I mean, more like, not saying that baseball would, but like, you can't put Allegiant Stadium like right in the middle of the strip and be like, okay, we got the Raiders here now, which is essentially what they were trying to do with the A's. Even if they were going to keep it at 30,000 seats or whatever, like you still don't have the place to put that many cars without public transportation to get there. So they're going to have to go outside the strip too.
And the owner of Oakland wants to do like they want a hotel on site and an event center. Like they want to make it a destination, and the city's going, there's no way on earth you can pull that off here. It just doesn't work.
Right. It's crazy. It's just got all approved and like ready to move, and then nope, we'll just pull the rug. So
well, and the funny thing is that in the eyes of the county, it's still happening. The city's just saying we don't want you, but the city can't stop it. So now you got this weird dynamic of, do we want to go to a city where the locals don't want us, or do we find the plan?
I mean, you got time.
You do. I mean, you've got time, but that ballpark's going to take 3 years to go up. So you need to make some decisions here soon so you can get started on the ballpark. Otherwise, 2028 becomes 2030 before you know it.
Right. Crazy. So
it's nuts. It's nuts.
So we'll keep a running tab on that and see where that ends up. But it's just with the talks of like expansion coming in the next 5 or 6 years too. Like if you could possibly have the Brewers moving, you could have the A's moving. It's just, although there are talks that Milwaukee is going to improve that ballpark or update it. So chances are the Brewers are going to stay, from what I've heard.
Well, that's another one where the Brewers don't own the ballpark, so they're begging the county to put the money into the ballpark.
Right.
Taxpayers don't want to pay for it, but the county's got to pay for it somehow, and you're now stuck in another debacle with the local government trying to make this all work. And that's why the values of these teams are so much higher when they own the ballparks, because they have full control of the asset. They can use it as they want. They can improve it as they want. All the ticket revenue comes to them. Like there's none of this, confusion around who's in charge.
Yeah. But I think I read that Milwaukee did approve it. So I think they're on their way of doing that.
Yeah,
but
you kind of have to, right? I mean, you can't let the Brewers move away.
No.
That'd be a disaster.
Yeah. But what else you got coming to Milwaukee?
I mean, beer and sausage.
The Bucks.
What else do you need?
That's it. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting. I don't know. I know we've talked about expansion cities and what that would look like, but I don't know. I think a lot's riding on what's going to happen with this Vegas thing, because maybe they stay in Oakland and then Vegas becomes an expansion city.
Right.
Like we don't know at this
point. Or maybe Oakland is homeless and has to move to an expansion city.
Right.
It doesn't seem like Vegas wants baseball, though.
Well, that's the thing. Or they just don't want the A's.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is too.
No, I don't know. If you want baseball and baseball wants to come to you, you take it. Like I don't care how bad the franchise is.
I mean, that's fair.
Like
that's fair.
To me, this is coming off a lot of Vegas being like, we're in over it, but we got two sports. Like Vegas is not a big city.
It's not.
Like it's not. I mean, you got the Strip and you got all these tourists and all that, nonstop coming to Vegas. But Vegas is not a big
desert.
City. They've got two professional sports teams.
Yep.
Like I think in theory it was one of those like, oh my God, like hockey's doing really well here. The Raiders showed up and the Raiders are, doing numbers as far as attendance. Like we can handle a third one. And then you start to plan it out and it starts to get to a reality and it's like, shit, I can't handle this.
Yeah.
We don't want this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's different, man. I mean, like 41 home games for hockey, right? 7 or 8 home games for football, depending on 8 or 9, depending on the season.
Yep.
81 home games for baseball.
Right.
It's just an entirely different
That's a
animal.
lot. And
It's
you're
an
talking,
entirely
you know,
different animal.
You could have 6 nights in a row of baseball,
Right.
and you got to deal with that crap every night.
It's an entirely different animal. I just don't know if they
It is.
are built for baseball. I don't know if they can handle it. They have a minor league team, or they did. I assume the Las Vegas 51s or whatever are still there. I'm assuming.
Yeah, I think so.
AAA team.
Mhm.
You know, like they have baseball there, and you know, if they're not drawing record numbers every night for minor league baseball, I don't think they're looking at this being like, our professional baseball is, or Major League Baseball, I should say, is really going to put the numbers over the top.
Well, and like you said, like Vegas is a destination, right? I didn't even think about it until you just said it, Harrison. Like if they have a 7-10 game homestand, like people go out to Vegas usually for the week. Sure, I'll take Monday night. I'll go Monday night to the baseball game, and then I'm not going again for the rest of the week.
Right.
Like, so if everybody goes on Saturday, they sell out, you're going to just have a ghost town the rest of the homestand until the next wave of people come in on their vacation.
Right.
Like it's not going to be a constant attendance.
And it's in football and hockey is different. They don't play series throughout the year. You know, so you know, you have your season ticket holders, but you're largely relying on road fans to come out and travel with their team, and they spend the long weekend, or they spend the week in Vegas, and it's all centered around their team playing on the road in Vegas. You know, baseball's different. You don't draw road fans. That's not the bulk of your fan base.
Right.
The bulk of your fan base is your season ticket holders and the people that live in your city. And, you know, they buy season ticket packages if they're not going to buy all 81 games. But, you know, it's not a city that is built for that. You don't have millions of people that live there year round.
Right.
That are going to be in the market to do that. Like I don't know if it's a city that's built for Major League Baseball.
Yeah. Fair.
And you know, baseball, it is a different animal, and I think this is 2 things. I think one, it's Vegas has brought in 2 professional teams in the last 4 years, 5 years. I mean, they've brought in a lot of activity. 5 or 6 years. They brought in a lot of activity in a short window of time that they're trying to kind of get used to. And 2, I think Vegas wants baseball, but they don't want it as it's proposed. They'd like to see it maybe go somewhere else, because I think that if you take that off the Strip and make it a little less kind of in the middle of all this stuff, kind of creating chaos, maybe put it a little bit outside of there, it probably does work, because you don't have the congestion and chaos that causes 81 nights a year. Right. Whereas, you know, the NFL, it's like Sean said, it's 8 games, and it's almost always on Sundays. Like you know exactly what you're getting into. Baseball, it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay, they're out on the road again, but next week they're here for 6 nights in a row, and then they're out again. Like it's the constant kind of fluctuations to that schedule that I think are going to cause problems for them.
Yeah, I agree. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with the whole television drama, because it is something else right now. So
it's wild. It's all of a sudden gotten to be a really big deal really fast.
Yeah. So we will see what happens. But all right. Do you guys have anything else before we wrap up the show tonight?
I get a few quick hitters.
Okay, go.
MLB and Nike announced all the new uniforms that are coming out, these Nike Vapor jerseys, and they are generally disliked by the players. They're uncomfortable, they don't fit well, and they look cheap. That was a general feedback.
Huh. So they still look the same, they're just made... They're not the City Connects?
Yeah, there's some pictures of them. They look bland. They look like they look more t-shirt than jersey, like the style of them.
Gotcha.
So it's their Vapor Premier jersey. It's designed to be, it's got more moisture management. It's more airflow. It's breathable, lightweight, but it also looks more like a t-shirt in terms of the way it's made. So generally not liked by the players. Anybody wearing Nike jerseys this year are going to have these Vapor jerseys, and a lot of the players are not happy about it. So yeah, I'll have to keep an eye on kind of what jerseys end up getting released end up hitting the field and also get released to the public. Adam Wainwright is joining MLB Network as an analyst, which I think is going to be awesome to have him in the booth.
That.
Yeah.
Love having him stay around baseball. Jenny Kavnar will be the first primary play-by-play voice in MLB history. She's leaving the Rockies to go work for the A's. She's going from being in the booth to being the primary play-by-play voice.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Good for her.
And then, yeah, it's pretty cool. And I guess she did really good work with the Rockies. They were sad to see her go, but she had a chance to take over and be the primary. So good for her. And then Jen Pawal, I don't know exactly how to pronounce her last name. I've butchered it every time I've said it. Could potentially be Major League Baseball's first female umpire. She will serve as a full-time MLB ump during spring training this year, and she'll be kind of the first umpire that gets called up should anything happen to any of the existing kind of circulating umpires.
That's awesome. Yeah, and it's the first
Great.
female to umpire since I think it was like 2007, I think. So that's awesome.
And she's
Love
been in the
it.
minors since 2016, so it's not like she just like popped up and she's looking for a
Right.
shot. She's been around and she's umpired a lot of games.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So pretty cool to
So-
see that too.
Yeah. But all right. Anything else?
That's it.
All right. Thanks for chiming in, watching the show. And before you go, just make sure that you like and follow us on Facebook. You can also subscribe on YouTube. You can also listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also share our reels, comment on our reels, and get our name out there. We really appreciate the support. So we will be back on regular time next Monday at 8 p.m. With some pitcher and catcher news. We're reporting tomorrow, so we are excited. Baseball is back, baby.
First
Let's
spring
go.
training game is 9 days away.
Let's go.
All right.